I'd like to call to order the fifth meeting of the Senate Standing Committee on Economic Development, Tourism, and Labor for the 2025 legislative session. I'd like to remind everybody in the audience to please silence all cell phones, and if you're interested in speaking, please use the sign-in sheet on the podium by the door. Testimony is at the chair's discretion based on the time constraints and the information already presented. As a reminder, no signs are permitted in committee rooms, and if any member has a question or comment, please signal to Janine or Angela. Yeah, okay. And I guess before we get started, one of our staff members, Sasha, had a family emergency, could not be here. I would ask that everybody keep her family thoughts as we proceed here today. So we have 5 bills on the agenda for consideration, starting with House Bill 219 of Representative Hodgson. If you'd like to approach, I'm sorry, we need to take the roll. You can go ahead and proceed on up, John.
Senator Boswell. Senator Girdler. Senator Howe. Senator Maiden. Senator Nunn. Senator Thomas. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise. Senator Yates. Senator Funky Fromar.
Present.
Chair Wheeler.
Present. We do have a quorum, and we can proceed with the agenda. John, you may go ahead.
Thank you, sir. John Hodgson, State Representative, District 36. House Bill 19 establishes basic protections for citizens from unauthorized surveillance via drone of their persons and their personal real property, and provides a path for injunctive relief and civil action. Right now, there is nothing in drone regulations to prevent surveillance by a nosy neighbor or a malicious actor. So this bill has adequate protections for legitimate use of drones, for all legitimate business uses. Those are spelled out in the bill, and we've run through these for the last couple of years with all interested parties. And it provides people a path of legal remedy if you've got a neighbor or someone harassing you, whereas right now you can't shoot the drone down, you can't sue them. This gives you an avenue to say, stop this behavior or there will be legal action. So surveys show nobody likes being spied on, so I would advocate passage. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no questions, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell.
Yes, and explain my vote. I disagree with you that I can't shoot them down.
Next year.
Senator Funky Fromar.
Aye.
Senator Girdler. Aye. Senator Howe. Aye. Senator Maiden. Aye. Senator Nunn.
Yes, explain my vote.
Yes, please.
Just want to thank you, Representative Hodgson, for the work you do in this space. It's very, very important. I appreciate all the efforts you put into
Thank
it.
you very much.
Senator Nunn, you wish to register a vote?
Sorry, yes.
Senator Thomas. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise. Senator Yates.
Explain my vote.
Yes, sir.
I'll be an aye vote. I just want to make sure that somebody makes sure they send a message to Senator Whitney Westerfield when we pass it.
Chair Wheeler.
Aye. Senator Wilson casts an aye vote. Yeah. All right. So I believe the count is 10-0. The bill will be reported with a favorable expression. Thank you, Representative Hodgson, for your work on this legislation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have House Bill 54, Representative Banta.
Hi, Representative Banta, District 63. And if I were in education, I'd just say the Pritchard Committee supports this bill and endorses it, and that would be a mic drop. But I assume that you guys want a little bit more information. So this bill bridges.
Representative Banta, could you please have your guest identify themselves for the record?
Sorry.
No.
Go ahead, Brian.
My name is Brian Miller. I am the Executive Vice President of the Building Industry Association of Northern Kentucky and President of the Ensweller Building Institute.
Thank you, Representative, and you may proceed.
Thank you. We did a lot of work on this to make sure that the unions were okay with it, and we had the amendment added that made them neutral, and they like it. But what it does for kids when you're in dual credit, your work hours that are specifically towards the profession that you're going in will count towards those enormous amount of hours that you have to get to be a plumber, an electrician, and if you have any questions.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell. Senator Funky Fromar. Senator Girdler.
Like to explain my yes vote?
Yes, sir.
Representative Banta, if you hadn't explained your bill, when you said Pritchard, I'd have dropped it, and it'd been a drop mic. So I'm not in support of that. But I do support this because my granddaughter and my grandson both have, my granddaughter's going to graduate from associate's degree before she graduates with a high school. But yes, I vote yes.
Senator Howe. Senator Maiden. Senator Nunn. Senator Thomas. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise. Senator Yates. Chair Wheeler.
I vote aye. Representative Banta, thank you for bringing this bill. I think it's a very positive step forward, and I appreciate all the work you did in bringing all the parties to the table on this, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
All right, next up we have Representative King with House Bill 313. It seems to have a familiar ring to it. Representative, welcome, and you may proceed. Please identify yourself and proceed.
Thank you, Chair and Committee. Good morning. Yes, I am Representative Kim King. I serve Kentucky's 55th House District, and I had the honor of carrying House Bill 313, and the good chair of this committee carried it as Senate Bill 313. Both were passed unanimously when we had the privilege of holding a session in the old Capitol on February the 11th. It is the identical language, and I'm here to present it to this committee and the Senate for consideration.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell. Senator Funky Fromar. Senator Girdler. Senator Howe. Senator Maiden. Senator Nunn. Senator Thomas. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise. Senator Yates. Chair Wheeler.
I vote aye. Congratulations, Representative. Thank you for bringing this bill, and it will be reported with favorable expression.
Thank you. I appreciate your time and consideration. Have a good morning.
Thank you. Chair Branscum, if you'd like to step up to present House Bill 473. If you could, please identify yourself for the record and proceed.
Thank you, Chairman. Josh Branscum, State Representative, 83rd District. Appreciate the opportunity to be before you today to present House Bill 473. This is a cleanup bill of last year's House Bill 15, which was our bipartisan consumer data privacy protection bill. And I just want to take a second and commend the legislature and those who voted on it last year, as now Kentucky's data privacy bill is being used as a model for other states. So thank you all for that last year. But as you will see, House Bill 473, which passed the House 96-0, contains minor cleanup and wording.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Sounds like you're doing pretty good, Chairman. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell. Senator Funky Fromar. Senator Girdler. Senator Howe. Senator Maiden. Senator Nunn. Senator Thomas. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise. Senator Yates. Chair Wheeler.
I vote aye. Bill passes unanimously. It will be reported with a favorable expression. Thank you, Chair Branscum, for appearing before the committee.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, members.
Co-Chair Fromar, if you could assume the chair.
Thank you, Senator Wheeler. And we're going to be looking at House Bill 196. If you'll introduce yourself.
Senator Philip Wheeler, 31st Senate District. Representative Blanton, whose bill this is, was not able to attend today. He actually had to preach at a funeral for a classmate of his, so I am filling in for him in his stead. House Bill 196 makes a very simple change to the current statute regarding the number of mine emergency technicians that are required on site at a coal mine. Currently, a mine with less than 10 workers on an active production shift requires 2 mine emergency technicians, and yet a coal mine with 11 to 50 employees also requires the same number. If you go up to 51 to 100 employees, you're required to only have 3 mine emergency technicians. So currently, in a small mine, 20% of your workforce on an active production shift has to be certified as a mine emergency technician. Whereas if you are a larger company with 10 to 50 employees, only 4% of your employees have to be certified. If you are a larger company with more than 51 employees, 51 to 100, you only have to have 1 more for each additional 50. I don't really need to explain to the committee, especially those of us from Eastern Kentucky, this is a very difficult bill because there's arguments on both sides. And in Eastern Kentucky, with the downturn in the coal industry, a lot of the large coal companies of the past, with a few exceptions, Alliance Coal and a few others, are gone. We now are left mainly with smaller mines, which still form a very important part of Eastern Kentucky's economy. And at times that you have a shortage of coal miners, sometimes finding sufficient number of mine emergency techs for a production shift is difficult. And if one calls in sick or shows up, they can't operate on that day. Many of these mines are very similar to an ordinary small business, although working underground can be dangerous. I know this because I've probably represented more coal miners than any current sitting senator. I've done that for the past 20 years. And if I felt that this would substantially impair the safety of our working miners, I would be the first to come out against it. But, safety and economy is always a balancing act. The UMWA, an organization that represents coal miners, unionized coal miners, is neutral on this bill. They have not come out against this change. It allows some of our smaller mines to continue to operate. And I believe that it is necessary in order to keep our smaller mines operating until such time as we hopefully see a better change in policy on the federal level. So.
Thank you, Senator Wheeler. I do recognize we have 2 people that would like to speak. Are you okay with them joining you?
Yes. I spoke to Miss Morris earlier. She's a very kind lady that suffered just an immense tragedy, and I've talked to the attorney. So I'm very much okay with hearing her speak.
And we also have Courtney Rhodes along with Stella Morris. Courtney, would you like to come forward? And Courtney, we'll ask you when you take your seat if you'll please introduce yourself and be sure to pull the microphone up to you a little closer, and then the button turns green once you press so that you can introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Courtney Rhodes. I am the Black Lung organizer at Appalachian Citizens Law Center in Whitesburg, Kentucky.
You may not be able to hear me because I did not have my green button on. Okay. Stella, we'll come back to you. You can.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Stella, go ahead and introduce yourself, and we would like for you to share first, and then we'll have Courtney share next.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to hear my story today. My name is Stella Morris. I'm the widow of David Morris that was killed in a mining accident in 2005. We called him Bud, Bud was struck from behind from a coal hauler, and his lower extremities were nearly amputated. The cause of death for Bud was he bled out. He didn't receive the proper first aid training. The met on duty that day happened to be one of the co-owners of the mines, and he simply looked at Bud, got sick, and told the miners to get him out of there. A few of the miners took it upon themselves to try to bandage Bud's legs, but without proper training, they didn't know to do the tourniquets and things like that. So once the ambulance service got to Bud and they transported him to the hospital, Bud had sadly passed away. It's in the reports that they both made statements that had proper first aid been tendered to Bud, it would have been a very, very different outcome for Bud's life. And I just asked for your all support in this, opposing this bill, to keep our medics on duty, but 2 medics per mines, because for the last 19 years, I've had to deal with the fact of knowing, had there been another medic on duty that day, we may still have Bud here. My son wouldn't have had to have grown up without his father. I'm all for the coal companies here in Eastern Kentucky. That's what we thrive on here. It's not about wanting to put anybody out of business. It's all about wanting to keep the miners that we have underground safe at all times. And I feel those 2 medics are needed for each shift of the mines.
Thank you, Mrs. Morris. We are terribly sorry for your loss. And thank you for being here today to share.
Thank you.
Courtney, would you please introduce yourself again?
Yeah, and thank you for taking the time to hear from Stella and myself. My name is Courtney Rhodes again, and I come to you today from Appalachian Citizens Law Center. For over 20 years, our organization has served miners and their families who are concerned about workplace safety. We are opposing House Bill 196 today because it is a counter to the interest of the many miners we have represented. It will make mines a lot less safe. This bill walks back safety improvements that were made after the tragic death of Stella's husband, Bud, in 2005. In response to this tragedy, the legislature enacted the law that stands today, which requires those 2 mine emergency technicians to be on shift at all times during production. House Bill 196 walks back these productions, requiring only 1 mine emergency technician when there is a shift of 10 or fewer miners. We have seen no evidence to suggest that this is not possible for coal companies at all times to maintain 2 of these METs on a shift at their mines. It could not be difficult to hire miners with the certification. And in fact, if there is a shortage, it could be possible for those mines to go and make it requirements for their miners to receive this training. Additionally, the training is free. It is offered at all 4 branches of the office in the state, and it is not costly to maintain 2 technicians on a shift, as the miners typically receive only an additional $1 per hour. Decreasing the number of technicians is, however, costly to the miners and their families, as it will jeopardize their safety daily. There have been no underground mining fatalities in Kentucky in nearly 3 years. We urge you to help maintain this record and vote no on this bill today. Thank you for your time.
Are there questions? Yes. Yes, Senator Maiden.
Yes. Do you have any data on how many mines this would affect, like that we have that are 10 and under?
There we go. Yeah, so I actually discussed this bill further with Representative Blanton. I had reached out for some of those additional details, and according to him, it would be roughly around 40. And currently, according to the Division of Mine Safety, who actually presented earlier this last month, I think they have about licensed of about 130 mines in the state.
Senator Yates.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And first of all, thank you both for being here. And as stated by the chair, I'm so sorry for your loss, as I know that all my members of the committee are. And I think that public safety is always our first priority. And we have to balance that with a lot of things, but we always talk about what our priorities are. And to me, and I won't pretend to be an expert with the mines, and I know that Senator Wheeler and Robin Webb have been involved in this stuff a lot longer and know a lot of it, but I know that Senator Webb, I think, was part of the negotiations early on, I think after the tragedies in 2005 that led to some of these put in place. And so I wanted to figure out how much it would cost to just figuring out what's it cost to train somebody on how to do these safety measures. And my understanding is it doesn't really cost anything, that it's free and available. And when we talk about making sure that we have mines in place, I think the idea and the push for all of us is to make sure that workers have jobs. And so that's my bigger push. And so this, to me, if requiring additional training or having someone else in there would potentially just increase those wages. And then I dug a little deeper and figuring out why do we require multiple people, and I think it has to do with the history of the injuries at the workforce. And I do a lot of injury law, and there are some type of jobs and areas that would deem to more, I guess, as far as the safety risk, when you are going to have one injury, the chances of having two or more injuries are increased depending on what type of injuries they have. And I think that's what led to the requirement of having several people trained, because when you have several people injured, you better have more than one person with some type of information, type of knowledge. And so what my worry is, as much as, obviously my worry is that we won't be providing the safest measure. And then just happen to be, on the paper, onto it, that you're looking at the Dodge targeting our federal mine safety officers for closure in Kentucky. So in the event they close those safety offices in Kentucky, then we fall back on what is the Kentucky legislature willing to put in place to protect our workers. And for that reason, I think I'll have to be a no.
If there are no further questions, we do have a motion and a second. Will you please call the roll, Angela?
Senator Boswell.
I'd like to vote aye and explain my vote. There's been a war on Kentucky coal for at least 4 years. At least the last 4 years. And we have to do everything we can within our power, within reason, to restore coal to the state of Kentucky.
Senator Funky Fromar.
Aye.
Senator Girdler.
Aye.
Senator Howe.
Aye.
Senator Maiden.
I'd like to explain my vote, please.
Yes, sir. Please continue.
So there's people in the audience today that can testify that how pro-coal I am. And this bill has really been hard on me and Senator Wheeler. We spent the whole morning trying to decide how to handle this situation. And it's, I guess, after speaking with Ms. Morris and Senator Wheeler and I, and we had a quite lengthy conversation, and I know this family, and I'm going to have to be a no today, but and it's simply just because of the situation that they explained to me today, and before that I probably was going to be a yes, but I'm not against coal mining. Of course, you all know that I have probably the biggest coal bill out there right now, so but this situation does concern me a little bit. Thank you.
Senator Nunn.
Explain my vote.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Much like my colleague and longtime friend, Senator Maiden, I'm also very pro-coal. Had a lot of food on the table because of coal. And so I never want to do anything to irreparably harm that industry. But also, like my friend, Senator Maiden, I have concerns about this bill and the impact on safety for our miners, the ones who ultimately do put that food on the table. So for that reason, I'm voting no.
Senator Thomas.
Madam Chair, I'd like to briefly explain my no vote.
Please proceed.
Madam Chair, I guess my position is this. If I have to choose between human life and human profit, then I'm going to err on the side of human life. Because I always want to feel in my conscience that I did everything to make life safe, safer, and better and more protected for people. And so I'm going to have to vote no on this. I really feel for Ms. Morris. I guess myself, I know what it's like to be a young child and lose a father, and her son will get through it, but it's this was really unnecessary, and I think human life always trumps human profit. So I'm going to vote no.
Senator Wilson. Aye. Senator Wise.
Explain my vote.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
I'm going to vote aye to move it, if possible, through the committee in the process. However, with it having some consternation, I do think this is a bill that we may have to work on if it does make it out of committee today before it hits the Senate floor, but I will vote aye today.
Senator Yates.
Explain my no vote, please.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
First of all, I know our senator from Pike, if he's bringing a bill, I can tell you that I believe that man is very much pro-worker, and he's shown that several times. And so I'm hoping this will continue to get worked on and worked out. And sometimes it's easy when we talk about being pro-coal, that's easier to do. But then sometimes when it's pro-coal miner and pro-coal company, we have to side on the fact of pro-coal miner, making sure that we're protecting those workers. And my hope that's what's going to happen with this. Especially, they're going to depend on the legislature. We know that there's some major changes. Some of these safety measures are being put in place, and that's across the board. Where there's some of the OSHA protections, the safety measures. These workers depend on us to make sure they're safe, and I take that responsibility very, very serious. I'm a no vote.
Chair Wheeler.
Madam Chair, explain my aye vote. Ms. Morris's story is as gut-wrenching for me as it is many members of this committee, and as I've said, I've my entire working career I've represented coal miners, including in death claims, and I've seen children lose their fathers, wives lose their husbands, and there's nothing about it that's it's easy. There's nothing about seeing your community devastated with the loss of jobs. There's nothing easy about a lot of these things, and you're right, Senator Yates. This is why we're down here to make these types of tough decisions. And again, I think that Senator Wise makes some good points. Maybe the conversation does need to be continued, but for today to move the process forward, I'm going to vote yes. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator Wheeler. House Bill 196 passes with 7 aye votes and 4 nay votes. That same should pass. Senator Thomas, would you like to register for House Bill 19?
Yes, ma'am. I was away from the video room. I wanted to change as voting yes on House Bill 19 and yes on House Bill 18.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That concludes our business. We are adjourned.